Did you dress up for Halloween?
No,
Not at all?
no. I feel I should have. Just
Nah.
Halloween comes up too quick, and I don't like half-assing a costume.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. It definitely comes up on you fast because of work and being an adult, and I don't have time to think about how I'm going to dress up for I don't know if I'm going out or if I'm not going out. I went out last night. I might be a little hungover today. Uh but yeah, yesterday I just kind of half-assed it. I went to the show. I went to work at KMBR dressed up as George Costanza, had like the Terry Bradshaw horseshoe haircut and put on like a not like a flannel, but like a nice dress shirt, tucked it
Yeah.
into my pants, khaki pants, put on some nice shoes, and I was George. And then later on, Elena Madzorkis, our good friend, was in my neck of the woods, and she was like, "Come out and hang out with me." And I'm like, "Cool. Are we dressing up?" She goes, "I'm dressed up." I'm like, "I don't have a costume." She goes, "Don't worry about it. My mom has some materials I can give you." So she gave me like this weird fringe vest and like a skirt, and it was like falling off of me the whole time. But whatever, it's Halloween. No one gives a shit. So yeah, that's what I did last night.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah.
Man, I was out trick-or-treating with niece and nephew.
I knew you did that, but I didn't know if you were going to dress up too with them.
No, I mean we wore okay, we wore a shirt. Like we just bought a shirt with like skeletons on it. One of them had a baby behind the skeleton, and the other one, mine, had like beer, burger, and whatever behind the ribs.
Okay.
But Jesse's costume, I think, won the day. I don't know if I could even would I even be able to pull it up? I might be able to pull it up, but
Okay.
yeah, if I save this, give me some time. Because and the reason I'll say it was the costume of the day was because um I got a lot of I ended up adding it to my Instagram story.
Okay.
Got more feedback on that than anything else that I've gotten. Also, she won the costume contest at her work.
Nice.
So I think it was a hit. But we could not wear this. She couldn't wear this around children. That would not have been good. That would have been a disaster, actually, because I think the children would have might have cried. Okay, I don't know how to get this damn thing on there. Pretty much what it was like a hand and a feet of a baby doll, and it was sticking out of her stomach with like blood wrapped around the hand and feet. So as if the baby's hands and feet were popping out of a pregnant stomach.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could pull it up, but I don't know which type of image file.
Like coming out of Jesse's stomach.
Yes,
So she put hands and feet around her pregnant stomach as if the baby was bursting out.
yes,
I like that. That's nice.
yes. Yeah, terrifying. And people, I got a couple of comments and
You
responses.
could do that with children. Fuck the children. Who cares?
Dude, some of these kids, man, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, but you
I've
know
also,
what? You're gonna see some things.
This is the last. This is the last Halloween that's going to be, well, I guess, uneventful for me.
Yeah.
For the next probably, I don't know, 13, 14 years. What's the age limit for you with trick or treating?
Trick-or-treating?
When did you stop trick or treating?
Probably my freshman year of high school.
Yeah, yeah. I remember 8th grade was the last time that I went out trick or treating, and then 9th grade, that's when Halloween parties started happening, and that's when we moved past the trick or treating phase. That was also a time where I got to, as a freshman, like I wasn't drinking or anything. I wasn't doing any illegal substances, and I promise you I wasn't. And at the time, now that I remember, we were just doing really stupid stuff during Halloween parties. Like we were just, I remember like hoping that the girls would show up, hoping girls would show up, having airsoft fights. One time, it's like betting money on who would put icy hot on their junk. Me and this guy named Evan did that for like $20. It was the worst burning sensation that I've ever felt.
God, I can imagine.
AJ, you're totally right. That's where you're wrong, nice guy. When you have kids, it's all about them. It's a whole new level of eventful. That's true. True. That's what this was the last, like, did I say from now on it's going to be uneventful? No, this was the last uneventful Halloween that I'm going to have is what I meant, AJ.
Well, yeah, but
We
your
agree with you.
baby's going to be a baby, Stephen. Like during Halloween, I mean, like, you don't have to worry about anything. Like the baby will be sleeping during Halloween time next
Yeah,
year.
I know. Dude, we saw one where yesterday as we were driving out where I'm sorry, AJ, I didn't say it's gonna suck. I didn't mean that. It's just gonna be like the last one that's kind of normal for me. But
No, it is going to suck. It's all about your kids from here on out. Your
yeah,
life's over.
that's fine. But we saw one yesterday where with the little Dorothy and the scarecrow and the little baby that was dressed as the Cowardly Lion. It was adorable.
And Jesse says in the chat here, you forgot that the baby had a trick or treat bucket.
Yes,
That's good too.
It did. Yeah, the baby was
So
hanging on.
was there was no baby's head? It was just a baby hand.
Yes.
Hands and feet. Okay.
Yes. God, that would have been way creepier had a head been sticking out the middle.
I kind of like that though. I kind of like that.
Oh,
Just I have like the whole thing where the baby's like screaming and it's got like a bucket. It's coming out.
AJ,
That's pretty
stop
good.
it. I'm not cool. The cool part of Nice Guys Life, I literally don't do anything for Halloween. I never have. I'm not cool, man.
That's you sound like the kid from School of Rock. I'm not cool.
I'm not cool enough.
You are cool. You're the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas.
People in bands are cool. I'm not cool.
This is the band. Yes. All right. Yeah. The last good Halloween of Steven's life before it goes all down the tubes. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Popper, we're coming to you on a Saturday morning. We'll get to the NFL and some trade deadline stuff. We'll make our picks. We'll talk about the biggest game of the weekend with the Chiefs and the Bills. We'll talk about we'll talk about how Arch Manning's having a great game right now, but I can't see it. We'll get to that later. Yeah, it sucks. If you know what I'm talking about, we'll get in detail about it.
Well,
but before we get to all of that, the World Series is all tied up, 3-3.
jeez.
I thought it would go 7. I thought the Blue Jays would win in 7. Given what has transpired the last few games before last night, before Game 6, I thought that the last time you and I spoke, the Blue Jays took a 3-2 lead, and I thought once they go back to Toronto, want to wrap it up on Halloween night. That would be awesome. Still have a chance to do that tonight, but I never thought that the Blue Jays would have a 3-2 lead coming back to Toronto. And then last night, Yamamoto has a pretty good performance, goes 6. Dave Roberts goes with Glasnow to finish things up. Shohei Ohtani is going to pitch tonight. Your thoughts on Game 7 tonight, Steven?
God, man, I'm not trying to like put any World Series into historical context because we can do the whole, where does this stack up against other World Series? I don't know. And I don't really care. All I know is this series has been amazing. Like this has been everything. Like what more could you want from this? And I think the way baseball's set up, Derek, we always have that conversation, right? Where it's like, which playoffs is which sport has the best postseason or which sport has the best championship? We've asked that question at some point in the 370 some odd episodes that we've done this.
Have we?
We have. And I think like just with the anticipation that baseball has, there's degrees, right? There's degrees to every sport and what makes it as special as the other one. But the anticipation with baseball is unlike any other, I think, just in sports in general. Like the NBA and the NFL, sure, like the talent level is extremely high. You're probably going to see you're most likely going to see the two best teams make it to that stage. But more than likely, I mean, not every single year, but more than likely. But it just happens so quick. And sure, you get that time during the TV timeouts where you're like, what the hell just happened? Like I go back to the Super Bowl with the 49ers. Like when Dre Greenlaw got hurt after halftime and you're wondering what the hell just happened? What's going on? And you're like just scrolling through Twitter frantically, trying to figure out everything. But with baseball, you're just hanging on every single pitch. And this series, I don't really think you could ask for much more besides maybe your favorite team being in it. But right now, sure, I hate the fact that the Dodgers are the Goliath in this situation, but you have a powerhouse. You have the Blue Jays who are extremely good and might have been rated by us going into the postseason, just how good they actually are in terms of offense. Just because I was just enamored with the Mariners and their whole situation. But you have a David versus Goliath, and you got the David still fighting. You got the best player that anyone's going to see in this generation, and you might never see again. And you got a game 7 in which that player is going to be pitching tonight and potentially hitting too. Like, this could be not a defining moment for his career, but this is certainly something. Like, this is like Madison Bumgarner levels of, oh my God, he's going to be doing this too. He's going to be starting in game 7.
Yeah.
Like, I just think the defense, the situation where it's like both teams are playing at such a high level where one little mistake could cost you. And then, like, last night, the drama, like the ball getting wedged under the fence and the Dodger outfielder making the correct play and putting his hands up and making it a ground rule double.
Just I see in the chat. Sorry, I see in the chat. Pat H is like, that wedge ball was the biggest bunch of horse shit. It wasn't. The ball was wedged. It was totally wedged.
Yeah, I mean,
even though none of us want to see the Dodgers win, that was the right call.
Yeah, and it ended up taking like a double play to end it there. Like, I don't know, that rule sucks, but I think if I was on the other side of it, say that rule wasn't put in place and the player was trying to dig that ball out of there, we don't know.
That's so unfair, though.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what that was like. So I understand why people were pissed about it, but think about it if it was on the other side. Like, what if he tried to make the ball? What if he tried to make the play, couldn't grab the ball? It was just stuck way too far under there that you couldn't even get it out. And who knows? What if it's like a inside the park home run that would have tied the ball game just based on that, you know? So I get why the rule's in place. It's just the series has had everything, man. And now it has a game 7. Like, what more could you ask for, really?
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I thought that the Blue Jays had a chance. I picked them in the series just because I like the fact that they had home field advantage. And I don't know. I just think that the Dodgers, their pitching hasn't been as strong. It has been in the postseason, but with the injuries, I just think they weren't as good as a year ago. I mean, yeah, I think last night Gosman lost in the 3rd inning. Not lost the game, but that's just where they got their points from. And in the end, we got a game 7, and with Ohtani, I mean, shit, starting the game tonight, he could be the Brandon Pajemski of baseball. It'd be incredible. Has anybody seen that comment? I know, like, you and I were talking about this morning, but what do you say? He wants to be the he wants to be the Shohei Ohtani. He could have been the Shohei Ohtani of baseball if he got into baseball.
If you want to go viral on Twitter tonight, keep that one in your back pocket. Just keep that one in your back pocket. Whenever there's a highlight posted of Ohtani on the mound, just say the Brandon Pajemski of baseball.
You like that line?
That's great.
I give Brandon Pajemski enough shit, you and I, for his Valkyries fandom. But yeah, maybe I'll do that tonight. Dude, I mean, as far as like comparing it to football or basketball, like, I love those sports more. But yeah, this has been an awesome series. Last year sucked, even though it was the Yankees and Dodgers, and that's what everybody wants to see. When I say everybody, I mean the big media markets, the people that cover baseball. It was good for the sport. This is better, in my opinion. This has been just entertaining. It's been awesome to watch. So I would say this: if the Dodgers win tonight, that's expected because they're the big mighty Dodgers. If the Blue Jays win it, then that's a sign for hope for everybody else in baseball. Even though the Blue Jays aren't some small market team by any means, but you took down the juggernauts, the people that are ruining baseball, and we may have a stoppage, because of the labor negotiations, because of the LA Dodgers. So also, I would say tonight, Saturday night, it's game 7. If the Blue Jays lose at home, that would be just devastating for that fan base. Absolutely devastating when you have a lead going back to your ballpark. So I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. Also, Shohei Ohtani is incredible. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers win tonight because baseball's weird in that regard. Like, when game 7 in the NBA Finals happened between the Thunder and Pacers, you kind of anticipated that, even though it was devastating that Tyrese Halliburton went down with the Achilles tear, you kind of knew that the Thunder were going to win that game because they're at home. In baseball, it really doesn't matter. Like, I remember the 2019 World Series. Wasn't it where every road team won that game? If I remember correctly, it was the Nationals and the Astros. Game 7 was in Houston. You think it's a foregone conclusion? No, Nationals win that game. Tonight, it could just be that the Dodgers were the better team. And, with that environment, you would think, okay, the Toronto's got to win that game. Doesn't matter. Baseball's funny like that. So, yeah, anything could happen. And that's why Game 7s are fucking incredible. So I'll be watching that over college football because I have no choice. But, of course, it's the World Series.
Not to mention, Max Scherzer is going to be on the mound for the.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know about Scherzer getting the call for this one.
I don't know who else they would go with, though.
Yeah, Gosman just pitched last night. Who else they got?
Well, this was like their rotation. Like, this is what they've been using through the postseason.
No, I
like,
know,
Scherzer
but
was just the next man up.
Yeah, but could they have pushed Savage to pitch tonight if they really needed to?
God, I mean, do you really want to put it in the hands of a guy who was a September call-up? He's done enough, it feels like, right?
I know, but he was really good the other night.
He was so good.
I would say if Scherzer struggles, you go to him.
Yeah. I mean, you got to pull out all the stops, but that's the thing is like, where do the Dodgers go? I mean, you mentioned it yesterday. They used Tyler. What I was about to say, Gosman, Tyler Glasnow, coming in. So you probably used him up. I mean, they were even going to go so far as to use Yamamoto even in that 18-inning game a while back. So I think they're going to pull out all the stops. But like
Snell too.
Snell could be another option. But man, if Shohei Ohtani struggles, like, God, it may be Mr. Captain Obvious reporting for duty here, but like if he struggles and they go to the bullpen, God, it feels like it's the Blue Jays games to lose because it's just anytime the starter has kind of a underwhelming start, or if they at least get to him early and can maybe get him out by the 7th inning, it feels like you're in good hands there. And they did there was a little bad luck involved in that wedged ball. Like, God, if that had bounced just a foot before the fence, who knows? Who knows if we could even be talking about a Game 7 tonight? Yeah. Honestly, like that's what makes sports amazing, dude. In that situation, in Game 6, when you could have had the game-tying runner on base, potentially the game winner at the plate, my God. And every time Barger comes up, just a side note, I always keep thinking of Goldmember. His Farger? What's Barger? No, dude, there's just so much intrigue to it tonight. There's so much intrigue tonight, man. I can't wait. It's really, love it. Yeah. Love it.
And I do think the Dodgers were gassed from an 18-inning game on Monday night, and they needed a breather. They needed to rest and travel to Toronto. I think that's what helped them last night. So I think they're going to pull all the stops. You even saw, like, during the 18-inning game, Yamamoto pitched the night before, and they're thinking about bringing him in. So I think even though Glasnow pitched a little bit last night, I think they can definitely call him up tonight. So I think it's Game 7. Anything's on the table. No one gives a fuck about Tommy John or throwing your arm out at this point. This is for all the marbles. So I would say, fuck it. Go to anybody you want to.
Is George Springer going to have his Kirk Gibson moment?
That would be epic.
We've seen that in 88. Comes out where he could barely even walk on his 2 legs, though Gibson's in a different situation, different point of his career. I think he was much, much older and could barely even walk on both of his legs. And I forgot even what injuries they were, but they were so tough. Like yesterday, like Springer with every single swing. Oh my God, just in so much pain.
Well, not even that, dude. I mean, Kirk Gibson, yes, but what about like having like a Joe Carter moment?
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into football, your thoughts on the Tony Vitello press conference that went down on Thursday?
I mean, it's fascinating, man. Like I was kind of, there was some times where, he'd be a little long-winded, and I was just kind of thinking of like
not concise,
not too concise, no. But thinking of just what I was watching, and thinking of like the Giants era of years past. Like the Giants, it kind of feels like they're old souls in a way. I mean, you have this team that's, that goes by the saying "hum baby" because of Roger Craig, and then you have managers like Dusty, who's as level-headed as they come. You have, Felipe Alou and Bruce Bochy. Then Gabe Kapler is kind of an outlier in that sense, but also Gabe Kapler, you don't even know like what he is. Like I don't think I've really learned who he is, but just watching like Buster Posey,
he profiles
Buster Posey, the greatest catcher in franchise history, and then this younger guy who's never had any professional experience before coming in and taking over a team that feels like it's rooted in tradition. It just this new era. I don't know what to expect, man. I'm optimistic about it.
Yeah.
Like I hear Vitello talk, and I think that he'll be able to use those recruiting chops that he gained in college, and I do think they can potentially translate to the major leagues. It'll take a little while, but I think that he could, potentially sway free agents or
I agree.
I don't know anyone else to maybe come to the Giants, or at least give the Giants something to think about, which they haven't been able to do in the past. But I don't know. I was kind of just floored with the whole thing, just the whole picture, the scope of it.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of different. I'm willing for. I like it when guys think out of the box. But what did you kind of over the last 2 days? I know a lot of the older Giants generation listens to KMBR, and I know they.
Oh, do they ever?
And they might call in. I'd imagine that some are very hesitant to just put this guy on a pedestal.
Well, there's some that are skeptical. There are some that are overly negative. I think a lot of people are positive about the move because it's Buster. But I keep bringing up the fact that, or just the image I have come June or July, when most likely they will lose to the Dodgers and people are going to turn on this guy. And I just wonder how that's going to go over because, we're in the honeymoon phase right now where this is Buster's guy and this is a good-looking dude coming from Tennessee. He's a smooth talker and he's going to revolutionize the game of baseball, change the way that the Giants play baseball. And then when it doesn't come to fruition, people are going to turn on him. But we're not at that stage yet. So me and Copes were talking about it the day before the press conference. And we were talking about what do you want to hear from Tony Vitello. And I'll admit that I did not handle that segment very well, where I was kind of just being not negative, but I'm like, honestly, I don't really care what he has to say because I don't really care about press conferences. Talk is cheap. And
maybe for sports radio, that's not the best take to have right at the start, but
I guess
I totally get where you're coming from, because what really can you learn from an introductory press conference?
Well, I guess I should have phrased it better in the sense of what do I want to hear brought up, like when it comes to what he's learned from the college game, how's it going to translate, or the coaching staff, or who's going to run day-to-day operations when it comes to the lineup. And the truth is, none of that stuff was answered. So as far as the press conference,
they didn't give a wide range of people a chance to ask questions. I'll say that.
Yeah. Were you at the presser?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, somehow, some way, Jack Loader got a question before
Jack Loader got in there.
Andy Baggerly?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
No, I was on the side.
Good on Jack to get that question, because it was a good question. But what I heard, yeah, Jack Loader, I'm with KMBR. I was like, good on Jack. What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
Just to be honest, I'm happy for my guy Jack, but like, seriously?
Yeah, dude. No, Jack's the number one guy. He's the go-to.
Yeah,
right?
he thinks he is. He thinks he is.
No, dude, so I'll say that. Like, it wasn't going to be one where you had a lot of, I don't know, uncertainty around questions people potentially were going to ask.
Yeah. I thought that Kerry Crowley asked a very good question about the coaching staff, and so did I believe John Shea asked about the day-to-day operation. So I'll just say this: Tony Vitello, I mean, he was as advertised. I've heard him in interviews before, the Greg Olson interview. He's been on with Bussin' with the Boys. I'll say there's like a kind of an NFL interest in him, maybe because of just the college element, but those interviews, and we even asked Kyle Shanahan about him, and he was like, yeah, I know about Tony Vitello. He's an interesting dude. Can't say I know a lot about him in his past with Tennessee, but it's a very intriguing hire. Just because of, NFL, you see where college coaches go to the professional level. You see it in basketball too. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented. So as far as Vitello, yeah, he was as advertised. He, smooth talker. I mean, everything that Buster was talking about, how he wants a guy that is a leader and builds up his players and finds talent. He was those things. I mean, we haven't seen that stuff yet, but we hear about that stuff in Tennessee. I liked how real he was. I liked how down to earth he was. It wasn't like Gabe Kapler, who's, kind of phony. And let's be honest, that press conference was an interrogation. It was a totally different circumstance.
Or in the
But
words of John Dickinson, as real as a $3 bill.
that's a very good line by JD.
Oh, that got me.
Bob Melvin just kind of felt like the adult in the room after that, being like, I'm here just to steer the ship in the right direction. And that did not happen. With Tony Vitello, he was just, I liked how he didn't make any grandiose statements or predictions or anything, being like, I want to kick the Dodgers' ass. If he said that, I would have rolled my eyes, being like, that is so college. That's so like Ben Johnson saying, I want to beat the Packers twice a year when you don't even know Matt LaFleur. I would have rolled my eyes at that because that seems disingenuous. He was just very real in the sense of, I don't know what I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. This is brand new to me, but I'm going to take it head on with intensity and love, and I'm in this 100%.
Yeah.
And I like that he just said, I just want to do a good job. And, this wasn't that big of a deal, but I like that he said that Twitter's not real life. And that's just to respond to the haters out there. Just keep your, keep a level head, keep yourself going forward. Don't care
Tennessee
about
got a lot of
criticism.
Tennessee got a lot of them too. And I think like what I kind of liked is he's not paying attention to the outside noise. And believe me, we get a lot of that. In the Bay Area, especially. We're all over Twitter. I mean, every team in every sport is, but with just how vast the Bay Area is, it's definitely amplified with the amount of people who are tweeting about said sport.
Right.
Like even in, like obviously you got like New York and all those big metropolitan markets, but it feels like just in the Bay alone, you have a lot of influx of just critique, opinions, all that sort of stuff going in there. So I did like that. And the thing that struck me, we don't really pay attention to what he says too much, I think Zach Manassian had something interesting when he basically said like, it's not like this just happened out of the blue. Like he's been mentioned, his name's been mentioned in baseball circles and managerial circles, which had me thinking, okay, well, if the Giants didn't do this, well, some other team probably would have. And so I'm kind of, that's why I'm glad the Giants made that move and are willing to take the risk and all those things that you mentioned. I echo that too. He seems to really have like a lot of people who believe in him, a lot of friendships that he's managed to create, even though it's not like about friendships. I mean, I like Buster, and I forgot who he said this with, but it might have even been at the press conference or maybe some other interview during that whole media day. But basically said like, look, I wasn't friends with guys when we were between the lines. And I don't think Tony's going to be that way. I think he's going to be, he may come off as like, yeah, it's about people and relationships, but when they get between the lines, like there's no friends out there. And I think he has the same mindset. Yeah. There's a lot to question about this move, but there's a lot to like, I think, and a lot of uncertainty around it and all those different things. And that's why I'm very interested to see what happens. I was going to ask him like what movie that he quotes way too much, but I don't think that's the right question to ask during an introductory presser. I was going back and forth in my head about it.
I think Murph asked him what stuff are you into as far as movies, and he said I'm a big Departed guy. He likes the show Reacher. As far as was this inevitable that some team was going to make him a manager? Zach Manassian brought that up during the presser, saying we were just ahead of the curve, but there was a ton of interest in this guy. We asked Andrew Baggerly about that yesterday, and he was like, oh, yeah, he was talking to other teams. Other teams were interested. And it may not have been this offseason, but eventually he was going to be a manager. So the Giants just beat everybody. I will say one critique I have of the press conference was, or actually I have a couple, but one was he was very real, but there were moments where he just would drop references of the past. So he'd just be like, yeah, Madison Bumgarner, or mispronounce his name, but whatever, who cares? Dusty Baker. He just brought up names to be like, all right, like even though he's saying like, I don't know what I don't know, this is brand new to me. And then he'd be like, but I'm willing to like find great players like Dusty Baker. You guys remember him, right? And people be like, yeah, this guy knows what we're talking about. He likes Dusty Baker.
I mean, he's acknowledging the history of the Giants. And saying, hey, I know Dusty Baker. You should like me because I know Dusty.
But I hear you. But that was the one part where I was like, yeah, I hear you. Come on, keep going.
There was a little segment from that Youth Incorporated interview, because a lot of that with Greg Olson was talking about development and really about like youth sports. Like not a lot of it had to do with the pros, so there wasn't like too much you could, oh, I heard you say this in that interview, and I wanted to kind of expand on that. But there was one where it just felt like bringing up any other teams. They just didn't want to. Like it felt like this had to be like, oh, this is about the Giants. You know what I mean? I was going to ask him like which players or teams kind of influenced who you are as a baseball mind and as a baseball personality. And I've heard him kind of say the answer before. It was kind of leading him into the answer about talking about the Phillies from back in the day with Lenny Dykstra or those Cubs teams from 2016. But I didn't want to put him in a tough position where he has to say any other team besides like the Giants,
No, but that's also, I think that's part of his personality. I think that he was just real. He wasn't going to say like, we got to beat the Dodgers, we got to beat the Padres. Like Jack Loder's question was good, being like, when you look at the landscape of the NL West, like, what do you think about that? And he goes, you're always going to have competition, whatever league you're in, whatever division you're in. So yeah, I think what he's telling people though is give me time a little bit. Like it's going to be a process early on, and then we'll see where I go.
He's also going to find that the rivalry is watered down compared to what he had to deal with in Tennessee. I was looking up the history of Tennessee and Vanderbilt. It goes back to the late 1880s. It's strong. Like it's a strong rivalry out there in college baseball, and college baseball is brutal.
Yeah, dude. But Dodgers, Giants, that's a whole nother animal.
Sure. But I mean, there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. But as far as what you're going to be facing on the field, it's not as strong as what they were in college.
Oh, baseball. I mean, we'll see. We'll see when if they get swept by the Dodgers in a 4-game series, how much this fan base will turn on him. But
sure,
regardless, my point is when it came to what are you going to bring from the college level, that was kind of vague. As far as the coaching staff, they're figuring that out. Who's going to run the day-to-day operations? Buster didn't even give an answer on that really. So none of those questions were answered. I'll just say this. Bottom line. Do you remember anything from Kyle Shanahan's press conference?
Introductory?
Yes.
No.
Do you remember anything from Steve Kerr's press conference?
No.
Do you remember the train wrecks, Jim Tomsula and Gabe Kapler?
Yes.
All that stuff.
I remember those.
Yes. Those are memorable because of the outcomes and the way those press conferences went. But the reality is, if he wins, who gives a shit about the press conference? So I know a lot of people love the first impressions of him, but if he just wins, I could give a flying fuck about the press conference. All that matters is having wins on the baseball field. So
we put too much stock into the press conferences.
We do. Like Dan Campbell was made out to be an idiot. And I remember Nick Sirianni stumbling over his words. Didn't matter. All that matters is, do they win? Yes. So I think the hope is that this press conference that happened on Thursday, we forget about it within a year.
Have we actually taken inventory of how many knee injuries have the Lions have actually like incurred throughout Dan Campbell's tenure as the head coach? Have we
what?
That out? Have we checked out how many knee injuries that the Lions have caused since Dan Campbell's taken over?
Not really. I mean, if we're holding coaches by their words, I don't remember the Lions ever buying a kneecap. So Dan Campbell's let the fan base down in that regard.
Yeah, he's really not living up to it, is he?
No, but he's definitely living up to a guy that loves Halloween, dressing up like Marilyn Monroe. That was awesome.
He's definitely living up to him getting 2 venti coffees, getting 4 espresso shots in each one.
And on the flip side, Matt LaFleur not giving a shit about Halloween.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah. Come on, Matt. Lighten up.
I'll say that some people give Kyle Shanahan a hard time, being like he's a little too strict with the media. Matt LaFleur, he's just like, guys, these questions are dumb. I'm not entertaining this. Halloween. It's Friday night before an NFL game.
Am I alone in thinking that Kyle Shanahan actually doesn't treat the media too poorly?
No, he doesn't. He's just, like the other day, or yesterday when they asked him about, I forget who asked him, but it was about Brock Purdy being like, if he's questionable and backs up Mac Jones on Sunday and he's not 100%, why is he playing in this game? Or has the potential to play in this game? Like, could he suffer a setback? And Kyle's like, what's your question here? And it was a good back and forth. And then what the reporter was insinuating was, if he's not 100%, why is there potential of him playing? And I guess what he said to Kyle was, is there risk involved? He's like, there's risk every play. I hope that helps answer your question. He goes, it does. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. It was definitely like contentious, but Kyle won't scream at anybody. He'll just be like, it is what it is. I answered your question. We're moving on now.
Yeah, I don't know. I listen to them. I've listened to a lot of them, and I just never got that vibe that he treats the media like with disrespect, like some of these other ones. I got fooled, dude. I got fooled bad by a Kellen Moore AI clip. Terribly.
Oh, dude, I think I know the one you're referring to because I looked at it and I was like, is this AI? And then when I saw it at the end where he used some like new slang where I was like, that's not Kellen Moore. That's not.
Stop hitting me with these bullshit ass questions.
Yeah, no, but he's like, but then at the end he's like, stop hitting me with these bullshit ass questions, bro. And I was like, that's not Kellen Moore,
dude. I was totally fooled by it. I went back to look at the Saints presser. I was like waiting for a question about the quarterback because I knew it had to do with like Rattler and Shook, and I was like, did he really say that? So I went back to the Saints YouTube page. By the way, AI, for all the shit we give it, if you go on to little inside radio secret here, I kind of cheat now, but with YouTube, if you're looking for something at a press conference, you could literally hit the Ask AI button and just type in what answer you're looking for, and it'll give you the timestamp.
Ooh, that saves me a ton of time. Okay, good to know.
Game changer,
especially for producers that are just trying to find clips that are not on Twitter. Okay,
a whole new thing. But anyway,
good to know. I'm not an AI guy, but good to know for that.
I typed it in. I typed in Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shook, whatever, and it popped up, and I couldn't find anything. And I was like, I got fooled. And then I went back to look at it again, and there was clearly, it looked like one of those old like Jackie Chan movies where the voice is like completely out of sync with what's actually going on in the movie. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, in the future, you could save yourself a ton of time if Ari Meroff or a bunch of these other guys don't tweet that out. That would have been everywhere if he reacted that way.
Yeah, good point.
Speaking of reporters, let's talk a little bit about the NFL trade deadline. Deanna Rossini had her usual article on Saturday mornings, like what she's hearing, and the trade deadline's coming up on Tuesday. The latest stuff from her is that the Eagles are in on some pass rushers, Jalen Phillips and Jermaine Johnson. The 49ers have acquired on Jalen Phillips as well, Logan Wilson, the linebacker from the Cincinnati Bengals, and Trey Hendrickson. But at this time, the Bengals are expected to trade away nobody. Breece Hall could be had for at least a third-round pick. Jacoby Myers could be moved by the Raiders, but the asking price right now is a little too high. And this was not like huge news by any means. Myles Garrett is going nowhere, and this comes after Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports said that the Eagles would be willing to trade 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett. And I don't doubt that. And if that's true, I think Andrew Berry should entertain that. But if they love Myles Garrett, I mean, if they didn't want to trade him at the, in the offseason, then why would they do that now? Maybe because they know their team is so bad, even when he has 5 sacks. But if I was the Cleveland Browns, yeah, I definitely would entertain that because then you're going to have 3 first-round picks next year in the NFL draft. I mean, your team's going nowhere. I know Myles Garrett is that great of a player. I would consider that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe this offseason, but it's not going to happen in the trade deadline.
Well, they've screwed up their quarterback situation so much and took like 3 years worth of a step back. Maybe you have to make a drastic move like this if you want to get back to wherever you want to be. Because moving forward, I don't really know what their plan is.
Well, their plan is to get a quarterback next year, but I don't really like any of these quarterbacks. And yeah, to your point, Steven, like they fucked up so bad with Deshaun Watson, they traded away 3 first-round picks. They would recoup that instantly with Myles Garrett.
Yeah, so I think that would make a ton of sense for them, really.
Yeah,
I know we don't like doing that. I know we don't like trading, the greatest pass rusher really of this generation, a guy who is just elite in every single aspect of his position, but I really think that might be worth it if you want to totally reset. Like you have to make the hard decisions, man, because you already made one on, a guy who's pretty much out of the league now.
Yeah. So as far as the trade deadline, I think that a lot of smoke builds up and then sometimes nothing happens, especially with the NFL trade deadline. Baseball trade deadline, usually you get a lot of movement. Basketball trade deadline, a lot of movement. In the NFL in recent years, yeah, we've seen a lot of big moves, but I don't know about this year. So I'll just tell you what I think is going to happen.
Uh-huh.
I don't think Myles Garrett's getting traded. I don't think Trey Hendrickson's getting traded. I don't think that Max Crosby's getting traded. I think that people know that by now. Excuse me. But I think as far as
You.
yeah, I know. As far as like mid-level players, I'll say I think Jacoby Myers gets moved. I'll say to the Bills, I think for like a 5th-round pick. I think that we'll see what happens tomorrow with the Chiefs game. But if the Bills get another wide receiver, that would definitely help them out. I think Rashid Shaheed gets dealt. I don't think Chris Olave does because I think that they see more potential in him as a younger player and they want to sign him to a contract. So I think Rashid Shaheed gets dealt to the Steelers because they need more speed. They have DK Metcalf, who's a great wide receiver, but they need some more over-the-top help. He goes for like a 5th-round pick. I don't see him going any higher than that. I do think Jalen Phillips goes to the Eagles. I'll say for a 3rd-round pick. He knows Vic Fangio from one season with the Miami Dolphins. I think Bradley Chubb stays because he's got 2 years left on his deal, and they can see what they can do in the offseason.
Sure.
Jermaine Johnson, the pass rusher for the Jets. I could see the Lions getting him, teaming him up with Aiden Hutchinson. I'll say a 3rd-round pick too. Like none of these are going to be like big-time moves for like multiple 1st-round picks. That's for the offseason.
Right.
And then lastly, I'll say David Njoku, the tight end for the Browns, goes to the Broncos for a 4th-round pick because they're looking for more tight end help. I don't think Breece Hall gets moved just because I think that a 3rd-round pick, yeah, that seems manageable. But I think the Jets are like, look, we can move a lot of pieces, but why would we trade away maybe our best player right now? Like we can get a quarterback, we can get more pass rush. It's hard to find running backs sometimes. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's easy to find running backs, but this guy's special. So you don't have to pay that much for running backs these days. So why would we move him?
Yeah, I agree. Like Brees, I think I don't even know what their salary cap looks like, but I think I think Brees Hall is the sneaky biggest name on this trade market right now. If none of these edge rushers are going to be getting moved, then I think that's kind of the next guy up just because of how uber talented he is. If that's even a way to phrase that. But
no, it is. If you listen to Robert Sala's press conferences, it is.
Uber talented. Is that where I got it from subconsciously?
It might be.
Jay, man, he had a lot of good things to say about Dart. Good God, they were talking him up.
Oh, he's uber talented.
Uber talented.
I was saying the other day, like, how often does he use that word? Because I think he's used Uber a lot, but I would love we got that whole transcript of him yelling at Liam Cohen, like, I'll Uber end your life. I swear to God, I'll Uber end your life.
Probably when he's talking about public transportation, convincing people to not drink and drive. Just take an Uber. I think that's when he uses it the most. That joke fall flat.
Go on with your take there, Stephen.
Are the Jets willing to pay what would be the going rate right now? Like $12 million a year? 12 probably.
Say again, sorry.
What would be the going rate for a running back right now? 12 mil a year, probably, I think.
Yeah, around
that. That's what Saquon's getting, right?
Saquon's getting 20. But like in the Brees Hall category, yeah, like James Cook and Kyron Williams, yeah, those guys are getting 12 to 15.
Yeah. So I'd say if the Jets are willing to pay that, then you should, because from there, like it feels, especially since they already paid Garrett Wilson too.
Yeah.
It feels like you're just a couple of pieces away where it's like, God, I shouldn't have gotten rid of that guy. It's like the Raiders getting rid of Josh Jacobs, where it's like, oh my God, it feels like they could have paid him. And moving forward, they were kind of just in no man's land for a little bit. And now it seems like they have mishandled potentially getting the other running back in Ashton Genty because, well, their team stinks.
Yeah.
So it might be worth it.
But let's be honest, if Josh Jacobs was playing against this offensive line too, he wouldn't be very effective. So,
sure. But one more thing from as far as the Raiders, like Jacoby Myers, I think is going to get moved.
Yeah.
Whatever this holdup is, just based on them wanting too steep a price. I mean, the Raiders are going to get as much as they want, but at the end of the day, like when you lead up to Tuesday at 1:00, they're going to have to move him, because if not, then what are you doing? Like,
exactly.
What's the point? Like, are you just going to let him play out the rest of this contract and let him walk as a free agent and get him for nothing? Like, this is what the trade deadline's for. This is why teams sell. It's because you have players on expiring deals and they're not going to have much value if you just let them walk in free agency. So I see him getting moved at some point. I don't know to which team. I mean, I guess it's just which one is willing to, talk to other teams about wide receivers. But really, I think they know in the back of their mind too. Like they had to know, they have to think that information, right? It's like they got to know, what, the Raiders are going to trade him. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll put that one on the back burner right now. Focus on other teams to try and try and win that one, and then maybe we'll go back to the Raiders. Something interesting though that popped up. And I wonder if they'd be interested in entertaining this move because Derek, it's weird. The relationship with the Raiders and this guy is strange. And I go to Albert Breer's latest trade deadline article.
Okay.
The situation in Las Vegas is interesting, and that Pete Carroll is trying to build a program, and the roster is so thin that trades could undermine his ability to make progress on that front over the back end of the year. Teams have called on tight end Michael Mayer, whom Vegas could actually extend in the offseason, and cornerback Eric Stokes have been told no. Then here's the interesting one. Guard Jackson Powers Johnson has drawn interest too and has had his fits and starts with the new staff. So there's a possibility he'll get moved. And then there's the Jacoby Myers thing. Like, I do not want them to do that. Anyone who's listened to this podcast would know I do not want them to do that. I think they have a future star. I think they have a future leader. I think they have a future captain, all those things. A guy who is a cultural pillar for the Raiders organization, a guy who actually Al Davis would probably love, but for whatever reason, the staff doesn't seem to like him. And it goes to the start of the year where they feel like he's in a positional battle with Alex Kappa at guard, which is not his conventional position. He was voted as the best center in college football, and they even gave him a try his rookie year. It's not just to blame them. I mean, they did not go with Powers Johnson at center for a period of time until another player was injured. But there is something to this staff just not connecting with him in a way that I think the fan base is.
Mm-hmm.
So if that move happens, like I hate seeing his name popped up there, but I wouldn't be too shocked just looking at what's gone on this season.
I think
I don't think it does anything for them. I don't think it does anything to help them at all. I don't know what they could get for him. Just trading away because you don't like him. I don't think any organization should do that, but there's something strange going on with them.
It definitely is. I don't think it's going to happen, though, just because he was just drafted, a year ago?
Yeah.
And that's way too soon to move off of a player.
Agree.
I know that this regime did not draft him, but you have to see what you have in this guy. And, yeah, I'm with you, Steven. I think that they've been kind of jerking him around when it comes to play this position now. He was good a year ago, but now you're having a position battle that he's never, played or had played before. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I do think Jacoby Myers does get dealt. And I think that the way the trade deadline usually goes down is you ask for the moon, and then when Monday morning and Tuesday morning before the trade deadline happen, your asking price comes down significantly. So I do think they have no intention of extending Jacoby Myers. So what makes any sense to hang on to him when he's going to leave in the offseason?
Yeah.
So I think that, I think Jacoby Myers gets dealt. And I think nothing more than a 5th round pick come Tuesday.
What do you think would be then the most, like if there's a trade that kind of defines this 2025 trade deadline, one where you see it like, oh, we're in the playoffs now and we're looking back, can't believe they made this move?
Any pass rusher move. I think Jalen Phillips, if he goes to the Eagles, or Jermaine Johnson, if he goes to the Lions. If any of those teams acquire pass rush, that's a significant move. But I will say, I think any move that's made is not the same or has the same impact as Micah Parsons getting dealt to the Packers. I think that has changed the NFL season.
That's a bar.
I think that I didn't think about it initially. Like I thought that the first 2 weeks they looked really good. It wasn't until last week I was like, And it's going to be very interesting when the Eagles and Packers play each other on ESPN. Hopefully we see it for the YouTube TV audience. But I think that game itself could dictate who gets the number 1 seed and who's the powerhouse in the NFC. So these other teams can make these moves. Like if Myles Garrett got dealt, then yes, that'd be significant. But Micah Parsons going to the Packers trumps everything. So I think that, teams can find a way, a piece here or there to make you, push for the postseason. But as far as like Super Bowl contenders, the Eagles are a good team already. if they get a little more pass rush, that helps them, but I don't think that puts them over the edge on, these other teams in the NFC right now, which is wide open. That's to say, I don't think the 49ers are going to do anything. I think that they'll make calls, but I think we saw it already. Keon White and calling up Cleveland Farrell to the practice squad. He may get elevated today. I don't think they're going to make any significant moves. And I think tomorrow's game will dictate that as well, being like, we're 5-4 now. Our reality is realistic, as Kyle said. So let's just see where it goes. Let's see what we have in this roster that we are trying to build up with younger talent.
You watched that Keon White little locker room introduction, like not an introductory press conference, but his first meeting with the 49ers media in the locker room before practice.
I saw him talk about how he likes Chris Kasarik, but that's about it.
Oh, that's a serious man. I am not doubting him at all. That is a man who's not going to if I try to throw out a joke, that ain't happening. He does not seem like one who's, at least when it comes to football, has too much of a sense of humor. It's all business with him, which
that's good.
Which I think they need. They need a little edge on this line. So Keon White going to be the best player on the team.
Well, there you go,
no doubt. But I did like his what he was saying though. He's basically like, look, no ill will to the Patriots. They did what they did. I'm not focused on that. I'm looking at this as, he's like, I'm not focused on this being like a change of scenery. This is what's going to make me like a better version of myself. This is just a continuation of what I was doing. And I'm going to try and earn my spot here. I'm not going to expect to be like an everyday kind of every down defensive lineman. I'm going to try and earn my spot on this team because they're just so established. So I did like that. And let's look back at and looking back, Derek, last year's trade deadline, kind of a dud, really. If you go back,
Marshawn Lattimore going to the Commanders, I thought was pretty big.
Yeah, if you look at it, you got Devontae Adams to the Jets, which really turned into more of a positive for the Rams because they just didn't keep him.
Yeah.
Ernest Jones going to the Seahawks, which turned out to be pretty good move, I guess.
Yeah. Amari Cooper going to the Bills, yeah.
Aaron Browning to the Cardinals, Cooper to the Bills, Deontay Johnson to the Ravens. That was
that was nothing.
Fire.
Yeah.
Lattimore to the Commanders, and then Jonathan Mingo to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, that was nothing.
Zadarius Smith to the Lions.
Yeah, that helped them out for a little bit.
So point being, I think it's going to be kind of the same here, where you're going to have some moves made, but I don't think any of these are going to have much bearing. Michael Parsons, that trade to the Packers, bars. That was nice.
Like that?
That was a good line.
I will say, I do think that the Dolphins are going to have a fire sale because of what happened on Thursday night. I'm surprised that Mike McDaniel hasn't been fired yet. And I think he's a good coach. He's a good play caller, but wait for it, Steven. I don't think he's a good leader of men. So the whole thing was Stephen Ross, if he thinks that he doesn't have control of the locker room, then he would let him go. But I guess he does in his eyes. And it sounds like he's not going to be fired for the rest of the season. Dude. So I think that may mean I have trust in Mike McDaniel. I don't have trust in Tua. And that's where we're going to make a change. But we'll see.
Am I wrong to kind of agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I think he sees the play calling and he's like, this guy has something here. I like the fact that this guy's like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur. Yes, there are issues with commanding a locker room, but do I see the play calling and what he brings to an offense? Absolutely. You saw it, 2 years ago when this team was one of the more highest scoring teams in all of football, scoring 70 points on a bad Broncos team. But if the quarterback can't do it, then that may be the problem. Maybe Mike McDaniel is telling him behind closed doors, this is where we need to change things. And that's where I think Chris Greer lost his job, where I'm sure after they lose, and Lamar Jackson looked great, 28-6 over the Miami Dolphins, kind of a dud on Thursday night, where the next morning they have these conversations being like, what are we going to do for the long-term future? And Chris Greer, I'm sure, was getting calls on a lot of players, and that's where Stephen Ross tells him, now's the time where we need to trade away our guys and we need to rebuild. And he's like, I disagree. And that's where he's like, okay, we're going to mutually part then. So now Champ Kelly, the guy that we know that filled in for Dave Ziegler, is now their interim GM. And I think it's going to be a lot of phone calls for him these next 2 days where I do think they're going to trade away a lot of pieces. May not be Jalen Waddle, may not be Bradley Chubb, I think it's going to be Jalen Phillips. Makes sense because he's a younger pass rusher and hasn't really thrived with Miami. Had that bad, I think it was an Achilles tear, maybe it was an ACL.
He's had 2 pretty significant injuries, hasn't he?
Yeah. And that's why I think maybe the asking price will go down a little bit. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with the Dolphins as far as the trade deadline, because I think that's why they got rid of their GM, where he sees a lot of good players and Stephen Ross sees the time to sell them off.
Right. I'm with you. The Jalen Phillips thing, I'm interested in that though.
Yeah.
Like he's always had so much upside. Even last year, I remember reading an article, like players who are expected to have a breakout campaign in 2024. And I remember Jalen Phillips being at the top of the list and seeing him get hurt the way that he did.
Yeah,
that sucked. So that could be one where later down the line, we're looking back, like, damn, that team got lucky that they managed to work out a deal for him.
No, definitely. As far as another AFC East team, probably the biggest game of the weekend. Just real quick, Steven. We'll pick this game later on when we do our picks segment. But the Bills and Chiefs, it's the best AFC rivalry going right now. It's the best quarterback rivalry. It's reminiscent of Brady and Peyton Manning back in the day. By the way, did you hear Tony Romo last week at the end of that game, the Cowboys and Broncos, where he was like, Jim, we're getting ready for Chiefs and Bills. Does it have the same feel as Colts Patriots or Patriots Broncos back in the day? And Jim Nantz like, it's getting there. And Tony's like, yeah, man, when I was growing up, that was the best quarterback rivalry. I'm like, growing up? What are you talking about? You were in the league in 2003. Growing up, you were playing. What are you talking about growing up, Tony? You're not that young. Jesus.
Derek, we're all children at heart. We all reach adulthood at different stages of our lives. Just so happens that Tony Romo does it when he's a veteran NFL quarterback dating Jessica Simpson.
Yeah, I guess that's when he like really matured, or
that's when he started to really grow up.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Tony.
That was Dukes of Hazzard, Jessica Simpson. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I've never seen the movie, but I've seen those scenes with her.
The movie's so bad.
With Johnny Knoxville and Sean William Scott.
Yeah, I think Willie Nelson's in it too.
And the dude that I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. The dude that directed Super Troopers, part of Broken Lizard.
Chandra Nadi?
Sure. He directed that. You're like, yeah, that's such a good formula. But then again, like, it's a mainstream like movie that takes a classic 70s sitcom and tries to make it a relevant movie today, which never works.
Chandra Sekhar.
There you go. Yeah. He also did Super Troopers 2, which I was like, why are we doing this? But as far as Bills and Chiefs, yeah, I mean, the easy question is this the best quarterback rivalry? Yeah, of course it is. My question is, does this game matter in the grand scheme of things for the playoffs? Because it's rare, like when Peyton and Tom Brady were going up against each other, it was dominant by one team all the time, whether it was regular season or postseason. This is so flip-flop where the Bills dominate the Chiefs in the regular season, and then the Chiefs dominate the Bills in the postseason. So even if the Bills get the number 1 seed, and maybe they won't, maybe the Colts will get that.
Sure.
And maybe we won't even see the Chiefs and Bills play in the postseason to begin with. But I've seen this game so many times now where the Bills win, you're like, all right, things are changing, and they don't. So this will be a fun game tomorrow. We're all going to watch. But in the grand scheme of things, does it matter for the playoffs?
Well, see, I'm kind of confused by the question. What do you mean, like, does it matter? Like, as far as
okay, like
in the
standing?
End, like, what do you mean?
No. Like, what I'm saying though is, does it mean anything when they could potentially play again? So, because we've seen the Chiefs not have home field advantage and go into Buffalo and beat them. We've seen the Chiefs have home field advantage, and we think the Bills are going to beat them last year, and the Bills can't convert a 4th and 1. What I'm saying is, yes, this could go in the Bills' way as far as getting the number 1 seed, winning the division, having a home playoff game over the Chiefs. But with the way the two teams are built right now, for the long haul, do you think it matters?
If this were later in the season, I'd say yes. But considering we're midway through the season and you never know what can happen in these next few weeks, I'm going to say no. I think this is just one where you got to, personally, like, I'm not worried about like what this means for the playoffs or this has any bearing on it. It's just exciting to watch these two quarterbacks duke it out. And I know we always kind of talk about, like, I heard you interviewing Steve Young the other day, and you said, well, it was less against you and less about you in Montana. It was more you against Derek Thomas, blah, blah, blah. And I know it's the quarterbacks going up against the defense, but it's not so much that. It's not, we always put the verses in there, which makes it seem like they're going head to head, but it's about watching two of the finest at their position, who are the best at their craft, going up against different defenses who, I don't know, I don't even know really how good the Bills defense is.
Yeah.
But seeing two quarterbacks at the height of their powers going head to head, I'm not mad at that at all. Will it have any bearing on the postseason? No. Same way I didn't think like the Bills and Ravens from
Week 1.
Was it week 1 last year, or was it week 4 last year?
You're talking about this game this season, or
no? I'm talking about last year when
where Derrick Henry ran all over him.
Yeah, and
that was like week 4. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, ultimately it didn't matter because of what we just saw in the championship. So, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to looking ahead to the playoffs just based on this one. I think it's just two quarterbacks duking it out, man.
I know. The only reason I say this is because of the narratives and the storylines that come when these games are finalized. So everybody's going to say, like, now the Bills, they have a chance to beat the Chiefs when it matters. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, if they win tomorrow, it matters for the moment. But really, like, I've been fooled so many times now where I'm like, all right, Bills look better than the Chiefs, and then we have the AFC Championship game between these two teams, and that regular season game had no bearing on that. So, yes, it will matter for seeding and all of that, but in the grand scheme of things, if the Chiefs look like the Chiefs, like they usually do going into the postseason, it's not going to matter. All I'm saying is I want the Bills to be that team finally, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. I just want them to fucking finally do it. That's all I'm asking.
God.
I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the Chiefs, and they look better now.
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah. All right, let's pick some games, then we'll get into the drama that is TV bullshit right now. All right, Steven, you ready? You got the music?
Yeah.
All right, let's do something we call wins or wangs. All right, Steven, you got a 3-1 lead on me from your picks on Thursday night. You picked the Ravens, you laid the points, and you went under. I picked the Ravens. I decided that the Dolphins were going to cover, not the case. And I went over, not the case either. So let's start with the Chicago Bears going to Cincinnati. Bengals with a bad loss, losing to the New York Jets last week. The Bears losing to the Ravens last week. Joe Flacco sounds like he's good to go, even though he's got a shoulder injury. The Bears are 2.5-point favorites. Over under 51.5, and DeAndre Swift is not playing in this game.
Yeah, the fact that they're not really going to have much of a run game, I'm going to give this one to the Bengals. I think they're just going to win outright, and the over under is what? 52?
Over under is 51.5.
51.5. I'll go under.
I'm doing the exact same thing. I think that Joe Flacco, the fact that he's playing in this game gives me more confidence in the Bengals. I think that the Bears, they have good games and they have bad games where Caleb Williams looks like he's just still erratic. So I'm going with the Bengals. I like that Joe Flacco's confident in himself enough to go to the restaurant alone. Even though Jamar Chase is like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, oh, you'll learn. You'll learn one day. So, yeah, give me the Bengals, and I'll go under on the 51.5. All right, then we got the LA Chargers taking on the Tennessee Titans. By the way, a team that could, do a fire sale at the trade deadline could be Tennessee because they're not playing a lot of their guys. And I wonder if it's more injury or just the fact that they don't want them hurt before potentially moving them to other teams. The Chargers are 9.5-point favorites, over under 43.5.
Yeah, I'll lay the points with the Chargers, and I'll just think with the amount of points that the Chargers are going to score, and the Titans could get a few. I'll go over.
I'm doing the exact same thing with the same rationale. All right, then we got the Carolina Panthers taking on the the Carolina Panthers taking on the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 13.5-point favorites, over under 44.5. Bryce Young is back. The Packers are rocking. Have you seen these uniforms? They're doing the meatpacking uniforms where it's kind of blue, and their helmets are leatherheads, but not real leatherheads.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, Romeo Dobbs looks really weird now because he's got that Guardian cap on, but yeah.
God, that's such a big number, and I want to take the Packers to cover it, but No, I'll take the Packers, or excuse me, the Panthers to cover it, but I'll take the Packers to win it. So I'll just lay the points with the Packers and just give me the over. I don't know.
All right, you're laying the points. I am actually going to have the Panthers cover just because I think now they're going back to Reed O'Dowd having the bulk of the carries, and I wonder if the Packers can stop that run. They're going to win the game. I believe that. It's just even Micah Parsons saying, like, this isn't a trap game. We're not overlooking them to look past them to look towards the Eagles. I'm like, when we start saying that, though, you kind of are. You're acknowledging it. So I could see the Packers kind of having a letdown from their win against the Steelers. So I'm going to say the Packers win. They always play down to their opponents sometimes. I'm going to say Packers win. I'll have the Panthers cover, and I'll go over on the 44.5.
All right.
Then we got the Falcons taking on the New England Patriots. Michael Penix is back. And Drake London's back. The Patriots are 4.5-point favorites, over under 45.5.
Ooh, 4.5?
4.5.
Oh, wow. I got 5.5 here. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have this one being a close game. I'm going to have the Patriots winning at home, but I'm also going to have the Falcons covering that 4.5, and I'll take the over.
Against my better judgment, I'm going with the Falcons here. I think that this is a game where you can see the strengths of the Falcons, even though I said that I don't think they're a very good football team, and you can run on them. But the Patriots have running back issues right now with Ramondre Stevenson out, and they might be trading him at the deadline. And Drake May's been good, but this Atlanta Falcons secondary is pretty good. So I could see Drake May getting into some trouble here, maybe throwing some interceptions to A.J. Terrell or Jesse Bates. And their pass rush is not bad. So, yeah, against my better judgment, I'm going with the Falcons, and I'll go under on the 45.5. Then we got the game in New York with the 49ers and the New York Giants. Mac Jones is your starter again. No Ricky Pearsall. Obviously, the Giants don't have Cam Skattebo nor Malik Neighbors. The 49ers are 2.5-point favorites, over under 48.5.
Yeah, each team is dealing with some massive injuries. I think, like, Giants are also missing their starting corner, and, yeah, Illuminor is not even playing. I think their right tackle's out, isn't he?
I think Illuminor is their... Is he their right tackle?
Yeah. He's listed as a guard, but he is their tackle. But look, both of these teams have been riddled with injuries, but I think just based on what's going to happen or what happened last week against Philadelphia, I think the 49ers can run all over them. And I think Kyle Shanahan's really going to want to get right after that Houston game. So I'll lay the points with the 49ers, but I'll also take the under because I just think they're going to just keep the ball. It's going to be just little 4 or 5 yard runs here and there. Mac Jones just keeping them from turning it over. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the Niners win this game. I'm going to take the Niners. I'll lay the points, but I'm going to go over because I think it's a shootout. I think that even with the 49ers additions on the defensive line, I still got to see it to believe it. And if you thought that it was a hard time bringing down C.J. Stroud, it's going to be harder to bring down Jackson Dart because he's more mobile and he makes off-schedule throws. And even though they don't have a ton of talent from the wide receiving core for the Giants, the Texans didn't have a lot of talent either. They were playing without Nico Collins and Christian Kirk. So I do think the Niners win this game. I do think they run the football. I do think they put up some points. But I do think the defense allows a lot of points too. So in the end, I'll say the Niners win like 30-27 thanks to an Eddie Pinheiro field goal at the end. But it's a close game. It's a close game.
The uber-talented Jackson Dart.
The uber-talented. On the flip side, this could be a rock fight between the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans. No Patrick Surtain. The Texans are 1.5-point favorites, over under 40.5. Yeah.
Give me the Broncos to win, and yeah, I'll go over.
I'm going to go under, and I think that Bo Nick struggles. So I've got the Houston Texans winning, laying the points, and I'm going under on the 40.5. Then we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are off a bye week. The Vikings are coming off a mini bye week with their loss to the LA Chargers, and Carson Wentz is out for the year. I think Kirk Herbstreit probably regrets his comments saying that Carson Wentz is a little too emotional while he's on the sideline, writhing in pain, and probably was appropriate to do so. JJ McCarthy's back, and I don't have a lot of confidence in him, so I'm taking the Lions. I'm laying the points with. Oh, sorry, Lions are favored by 8.5.
Yeah.
Over under 48.5. I'm laying the points with the Lions, and I'll go under on the 48.5. Steven's gone. Well, we'll get his pick maybe later on. All right, remind me to come back to that one. Steven's back.
Hang on.
What the hell happened? Y'all good? No? Okay, maybe not. Steven, you good?
We okay?
Yeah, we can't see you, but it's all good.
You can't see me?
No. Camera's gone.
What? My camera's showing it's on.
It's not on. Oh.
Hang on. All right.
Now we got you. We got you. Hang on. You're good. You're good.
We're okay?
All right, we're all good.
We're okay.
We're good.
Yeah. My bad. I was trying to plug in my laptop and accidentally unplugged the camera. And it's not my internet connection, Ernie.
Yeah, Ernie loves calling out our internet connection, dude. Relax, okay? Okay, relax. We're good, baby.
Just spit my tongue at somebody. What the hell is that?
All right, Steven, the Lions are 8.5-point favorites, over under 48.5.
Yeah, I'll lay the points with the Lions, but I'll take the under.
All right, I'm doing the exact same thing. Good one in the afternoon, maybe. You got the Colts going to Pittsburgh, where the Colts are 3.5-point favorites, over under 50.5.
I think the Colts are just so hot, man. They're so hot right now.
They're so hot right now.
Yeah, I'll lay the points with the Colts. And yeah, I'll just take the over.
Nothing gives me any hope that the Steelers can win this game because, by all means, the last 2 weeks, the Steelers' defense has looked terrible. And the Colts have the best offense in all the football. How are they going to stop the run on Jonathan Taylor? With that being said, sometimes desperation makes the best out of football teams. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know why, but I think it's just that type of game where they find a way to shut down Jonathan Taylor, and Daniel Jones looks like, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes that we saw in New York. I could be totally wrong on this one. I probably will be. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I'll go under on the 50.5. I don't feel confident in that whatsoever. All right, moving on. Saints go to the Rams. Tyler Shook is your starting quarterback. Rams off a bye. They got Puka Nacua back. They are 14-point favorites, over under 44.
God, that's such a big number. You know what? I'm going with a little Tyler Shook. Early fireworks. I'm going to have the Rams winning, but I'll have the Saints covering that number, and I'll take the over.
I think the Rams are just going to explode on this team. I think that Tyler Shook's going to be a little shook in this game.
Yes, he is.
So I'm taking the Rams. I'm laying the points, and I'm going over.
Shooketh.
Yes. Then we got the Jaguars and the Raiders coming off byes. The Jags are 2.5-point favorites, over under 43.5.
Yeah, I'll lay the points with the Jaguars, and I'll take the under.
I'm going to take the over. I think this game's going to be not reminiscent of the Bears game, but I think it's a close affair, and you see the potential in the Raiders. But the Jaguars should win this game.
Agreed.
If they're going to be that team that is making a push for the playoffs and turning the ship with Liam Cohen, they should win this game. So I'll take the Jags, lay the points, but I'll go over on the 43.5. Then we got the biggest game of the weekend, the Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs are 2-point favorites, over under 52.5. No Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs, and no Ed Oliver for quite some time now with a torn bicep.
Yeah, that sucks, but I'm still going to take the Bills to win it. I just think they're going to be able to run all over them, and there's just going to be the magic of the football god saying this could be the last ever Bills-Chiefs matchup at this current stadium. So I'm going to take the Bills to win, and I'm going to take the over because I expect a shootout.
I'm going under, but I got the Bills. Same reason for you. I just think that they could run the ball effectively. I do wonder about these Bills receivers against this Chiefs secondary, but when it's time to play the Chiefs in the regular season, Josh Allen, confident as hell. In the postseason, different deal. But I think they'll win tomorrow. Doesn't mean anything? No. But they'll be better than the Chiefs for at least one day in November. All right, then the Sunday night game, you got the Seahawks taking on the Washington Commanders. Gina Daniels is back. The Seahawks are 3-point favorites, over under 48.
You know what? I'll give the Commanders a chance to cover. I'll have the Seahawks winning, and I'll have the over.
I got the Commanders winning this game. I know the Seahawks are coming off a bye, and the Commanders have looked rusty as hell, or just not really good lately defensively. I think that Jan Daniels back, desperation sets in. So yeah, give me the Commanders, and I'll go over on the 48. And then we got the Monday night game, and this is interesting. Arizona at Dallas. Dallas are 3-point favorites. Over under 53.5. Jacoby Brissett is starting. And Kyler Murray is still banged up, but he could be used in certain packages. Now, if he's this franchise quarterback and he's banged up, why are they using him in packages? Shouldn't he be playing in the game if he's that good? Maybe the team is better with Jacoby Brissett at this time. With that said, I'm going with the Cowboys. I'm laying the points, and I'll go under on the 53.5.
I'll do the same thing, except I'll go over.
All right, and there you go. Those are our picks for Week 9 in the NFL, and that game is going to be featured on ESPN. And look, there's always, cable, negotiations. My whole life, I've been watching sports on television, and during these games, sometimes you'll see some, ad pop up being like, if you love watching Monday Night Football or this, call your cable provider because you're going to lose those shows. And in the end, when the clock strikes midnight, those two companies find resolution. They come to a deal. So when I saw Mike Greenberg and Scott Van Pelt and Stephen A. Smith holding the water of ESPN this week, saying, let YouTube TV know that you don't want to see your favorite shows go away, I was like, yeah, good on you guys. Not good on you guys. Like, I think it's kind of lame that ESPN forces those guys to do that, but it's part of their contract, so I get it. But the whole time I saw that, I was like, whatever, they'll find a deal, whatever. And then Thursday night happens, and at 9 o'clock, I get an email, as you did, Stephen, as everybody that is a member of YouTube TV, saying, sorry, guys, we didn't come to a deal. ESPN/Disney, ABC, they have these ridiculous prices that we want, or that they expect us to pay them. And we're not going to do it. And we'll find resolution, hopefully. If nothing is solved for a little bit of time, we'll give you a $20 credit. But for right now, you cannot watch Disney stations on YouTube TV. And for how much money we pay, that is bullshit.
Yeah.
And you can also say that it's greedy of ESPN to do this because they're just trying to get people to sign up for their streaming platform, which I have. But also, if you bundle Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN together, that doesn't mean you get these games. I just found out this morning. I was all set to turn on Vanderbilt and Texas, and come to find out I don't have the right ESPN Plus membership to do so. So now I'm screwed. But I don't want to be an idiot that signs up for this shit, and then come Monday morning, YouTube TV and ESPN find resolution with this. I will say, ESPN's being greedy, but also everybody's greedy. All companies are greedy. And YouTube TV is no different than DirecTV or any of these other cable providers, basically, that have to pay this money to have this product. ESPN, yes. Disney is a greedy fucking company, but they have the right to do that. And if YouTube TV wants to be in the NFL business or the live sports business, they already are with NFL Sunday Ticket. They have to pay this money. I don't like that they have to do that, but that's just the way the world works. So I am pissed that I cannot watch college football today. All of these pretty good matchups. It's not like a stellar slate, but I would love to watch it, but I'm holding ground. I'm not going to pay for ESPN. If this goes longer, I may have to think about that because I don't want to miss Packers and Eagles. But then again, I would feel stupid if then they come to a deal. And I'm sure they will by Monday because enough people are bitching about this. But the fact that it's got to this point where YouTube TV was this small thing initially, and now it's built where we have to pay $85 a month, and there's so many limitations, and MLB Network is not even on there anymore.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to get this done.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't really know how any other way to put it. You can get everything, which I do, but I don't even pay for my YouTube TV. I just use my mom's login, and we all just kind of like chip in with it.
Right.
So I can't even imagine what it's like paying full price, but it's all dumb. It's just like, I remember, it's just what happened to being able to scroll through cable and quickly just watching games. Just press the previous button. It would immediately go there. I never thought I'd be longing for the days of cable, but cutting cable, it's what it is, man. It's capitalism, consumerism, and ultimately, like, they'll probably meet their demands, but ESPN also just wants people to pay more for their live TV service, so you could pay that much money for their service too. So it's just all one big game with them, and the only people that really are getting hurt by it are the viewers, people who actually use this stuff. And it's stupid. And this is just where we're at in society. It's just everything. You want extra something? Well, you got to pay more for that.
Yeah.
Hey, are you having trouble sleeping? Use the Calm app. But if you want the extra version of the Calm app to help yourself a little bit more, you could pay a little subscription fee, a minimum $10 a month, so you can get even more options. It's just non-stop with everything. It's not even just TV. TV is just like the tip of the iceberg. It's literally with every single thing. And not even to mention, housing prices are going up. It's getting hard to just live, especially in the Bay Area. It's like, if you want to live comfortably, hey, you can make $100,000 and go move to North Dakota. Like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. I like where I'm at. But now you have to have like a $200,000 per year salary incoming with your household if you want to actually, be able to afford to live just a regular life. Other than that, you're probably going paycheck to paycheck, just, I don't know, maybe even living off food stamps if it gets to that point. It's the whole world, man. This just speaks to, this is just emblematic of where society is at large, where it's just these big ass corporations fighting over money, and it's the consumers who end up getting hurt. Just us.
Yeah.
Who are just all these little ants in this big ass world that's full of grasshoppers. Bug's Life.
Nice.
Thanks.
One of Kevin Spacey's best roles, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, I don't want to say like Kevin Spacey has any good roles, really, but
yes, he does. You could separate the fact that he was a good actor. He's just a bad guy.
Yeah, dude. It's just like, but think about it though. Like the in the movie, it's just like they're taking advantage of these ants because they're smaller people. We got to rise up, Derek. It's like, once they realize that there's 100 to 1 of them, they could do something. But the problem is we can't, because of these big ass conglomerates. It's so annoying.
It is. And that scene I love that scene, actually, where, they're debating whether or not they should go back to that area to dominate the ants. Like, everything we need in paradise is right here. And it's like, yeah, it's just one ant that stood up to me. And then it's like, all right, it's just one ant. And then he throws, like, what is it, grains of rice or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Throws it at the other grasshoppers. Like, did they feel anything? And then he breaks the whole thing and it kills them.
Yeah.
And he's like, you let one ant stand up to you, they all stand up to you. That's a great scene. That's a great scene.
It's all about, it's not about the food, Derek. It's not about the food. It's about keeping the ants in line.
Exactly. God, I need to watch Bug's Life again.
Yeah, you do. I've watched it a lot. Way too much.
And you know what? And you know the irony of that comparison, Steven? That's a Disney movie. And yet the Disney Corporation is pulling this shit. So
you got to pay to watch it.
Exactly. And I have that now, like the Hulu. And Ernie in the chat says, Derek, you have my login, though, for ESPN Plus. I do. And thank you for that, Ernie. But shouldn't I already, I should have access to anything on ESPN if I bundle it with Hulu and Disney Plus. You got to add on to that shit? That's ridiculous. So
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how you put a stop to this, but there's just something where it's just like you're helpless. Steven. What?
I mean, there is no answer. The bottom line is, probably come Monday, YouTube TV will cave. That's what I'm hoping for. And even like then, I'm mad that they have to do that. But that's business in the world of ESPN. ESPN controls everything sports-wise. So we want you to. The bottom line is, ESPN doesn't want you to use YouTube TV. They want you to download their streaming platform, because eventually we'll get to a point where every sports network has their own streaming platform, and they do already, but to the point where it's so exclusive that they don't want it on anything except their own thing. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, we're pissed off now, but come maybe next football season, this will change. And I'm sure the NFL will be like, well, shit, we just had this big deal with NFL Sunday Ticket, and now we're telling our fans they have to buy more shit. We tell them enough, they have to buy Amazon Prime and Netflix, and they already have those things, but they're not accustomed to buying these brand new streaming platforms where it's just exclusive for one thing. They want to use it for multiple things. So
Yeah,
I'm not happy about it. I'm
messed
not
up.
happy. Yeah. All right, should we do a little jackass of the week? I think I found mine already in ESPN and YouTube TV, but I can come up with another one. Do you have a jackass of the week?
Yeah, I mean, do we have the same one? I feel like we're gonna have the same one.
Well, you tell me what yours is.
It's Jason Brown.
All right, no, mine's different. Go ahead.
Okay,
Coach Jason Brown that I referenced last podcast?
Yeah. He got into it with Mina Kimes over Twitter, and
I did not see this at all. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see here. Well, it was actually the guy who usually does 49ers games, or 49ers coverage, the kind of like one of those independent guys, Rich Madrid or something like that.
Okay.
He's been doing this for a while, and it was first him responding, but like Mina Kimes said something about defenses, and the way you beat quarters defense is you go over the top, and that's how you beat the quarters coverage. But Mina Kimes, he basically like said all these nasty things in this 2-minute clip. I don't even want to like give him much of a platform, but
you mean Jason Brown did?
Yes, and he's saying Mina Kimes, make me a sandwich, blah blah blah, and he goes over this, and then Mina just annihilates him, and then like Ted Nguyen comes in, this guy Rich goes in too, and he's just like this. He's using racist terms. He's like just saying, "Make me a sandwich" to every single woman that responds, and literally they're using like actual examples where, yeah, you can be in quarters and you can beat them over the top. Like that's how it's done. And then they're suggesting otherwise. Jason Brown suggesting otherwise. Point being, he's just saying all these things to get engagement, and he's just using all these nasty words and just I don't know this, and calling anyone soft who disagrees with him. And then you know what? Even the people that do agree with him, you're all jackasses of the week for even following this guy. So that'd be my number one. My number two, it was from last week, but there's an honorable mention where there's this video that ESPN posted where cross country, two guys going towards the finish line, and then it was a high school cross country race, and he like the guy that literally shoves him with his shoulder to throw him offline before the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you don't do that. If you're getting beat in cross country, you let them beat you. Like it's such a marathon, literally. Like you got to let them win. And instead he tried to shoulder bump him to throw him offline, and he still lost. The guy still lost. So that'd be my other jackass of the week.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Jason Brown thing. I'll just say this. Mina Kimes gets a lot of shit, and she knows a hell of a lot about football. And she knows X's and O's way better than I do, and a lot of people. So I value her opinion. Jason Brown, I said it last podcast. I brought him up just randomly. I hate when, like, for a guy that doesn't know, like, funny enough, she knows a ton about X's and O's. He doesn't know a shit ton about X's and O's because the famous quote is him in his hot tub the night before a game being, it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes. And he loses 70-21. He and Sean Salisbury, I used to respect Sean Salisbury. Both of them have this podcast now where they just have like right-wing opinions about football where like you're soft or you're a pussy if you do this or that. And I'm like, dude, look, whatever you align politically, whatever. Like if we just talk sports at the end of the day, that's fine. But it's just unhinged. It's Jason Brown just having an excuse to be racist or sexist. And I go back to the reason he got fired from that college job where he called out the German kid and told him, I'm your Hitler now.
Right.
Like, dude, like he's just a jackass. Yeah, Steven, you said it well. I don't even know the details of what went on. Just bottom line is he's a jackass, and he will always be a jackass. And
to be honest, I've stumbled my way through my whole meeting of why he was a jackass of the week, but we got there.
Yeah, no, we got there. All right, my jackass of the week. It's not like a serious one. I just saw this earlier in the week. I'm not a Sean Penn guy by any means.
Oh.
I think that he's great as Spicoli, and he was really good in One Battle After Another. I'll give him credit for that. But like him as a dude, I just don't like him. I think that he thinks that he's so high and mighty as an actor. I remember like during certain wars, he's like, I'm going to go there and I'm gonna do something. It's like, dude, yeah, okay, but you're an actor. Like, what are you really gonna do? So I guess he did an interview with USA Today this week saying that he's different than other white people. He never was racist, never had racist thoughts in his mind. His quote is, Sean Penn, he thinks he's not like normal white people. Ever since I was young, I knew. What does it mean? What does it mean you knew? Like, I get it, like, we all learn and grow, but like he's like, no, I've always been above all that. And like, you're just so full of yourself. And I'm sure he was, but like, God, I just can't stand him. So yeah, Sean Penn's my jackass of the week.
I mean, I get where he's coming from, but it does come off as a little pretentious.
It's totally pretentious.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what his upbringing was, and I don't know if there's like a lot of closed-minded white people where he was from or something like that. But
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Here in the Bay Area, I'd like to think we are, just because we're such a melting pot of different cultures, that we are a little more, well, I mean, for lack of a better, open-minded, really. I
think we're open-minded, but to be like, I think when people say like, oh, I've always been different. I've never been like everybody else when it comes to white people. I'm like, white people are white people. Like, relax. Like, stop.
Another one, I don't really watch Barstool anything, but there's something, and I'm more using this as just an excuse to play this John Gruden clip. But they just had like this golf tournament with a bunch of people from the internet. Like, I don't know if you know this, but there's like a huge YouTube golf thing. Like, there's a lot of really, really popular YouTube golfers out there, like even more popular than the PGA Tour players. Mm-hmm. They get millions of views. They use that wacky thumbnail where they have crazy facial expressions and things that stand out at you, buzzwords that make you click on it. And then it's like an hour and a half video of them just playing golf. And, a lot of people love it, especially the younger generation. So Barstool was holding an internet invitational. And I guess there's one who's really popular, who I guess was like on the cusp of becoming a professional, but he didn't. So instead he went to YouTube. His name's Luke Kwan. And I guess like the first afternoon or the first morning, he woke up late and didn't show up for the first half of the tournament. And I guess kind of cost his team a bunch of points in this tournament. So they were super pissed at him. And I don't know, he's not really a jackass of the week for me because I really don't care. I don't. And, but watching John Gruden, because they brought him in, John Gruden had to give a little pep talk to the team with that guy standing there. And it's just Gruden being Gruden.
Can we get Gruden?
Let's get John Gruden.
There was John. We need a team talk.
We need some love.
We need to win.
We're falling down pretty hard.
This guy real quick. What do you think, Coach? Where's our guy, Quan?
Hold on, get him out here. There he is. He's right there.
Quan, hey, Quan, come on.
Everyone be quiet.
I think we got to get it out of our system here. We're all fucking pissed, yes?
Yeah.
We can be pissed off, right? We can blame Quan. We can blame ourselves. We can do whatever we want. Or we can roll up our fucking fist and pound a rock. Are we clear on that?
Yeah.
We got the best player in the field right
Let's
here.
go.
All right? Now you helped us dig this hole. You're going to dig us out of this hole.
Yeah.
Go. Every guy here, though, quit bitching about our problems. Start rolling the rock. Put the ball in the hole. Are we clear on that?
Let's go.
Yes, let's control what we can control.
Yes,
Don't worry about the shit we can't control.
That's right.
Some of you guys, I came a long way to watch you guys play. And he slept in, and hell, you guys slept in also. Now pick up your fucking game. Let's go.
Okay. I know we have a fun time with the Nicey videos and all of the other videos he does for Barstool. Like there was one last night where he was like, "Oh man, my wife's having a Halloween party. Ah, shit. Should I be Chucky again? I'm always fucking Chucky." And then he goes home and his wife's like dancing around in a squirrel costume. What you just played, that is John Gruden. That's what John Gruden really wants to be. I've heard him say that over and over again. Are we clear on that, man? Like he wants to be a leader. So it's fun, and I laugh my ass off at all the videos. He wants to coach. I think he's going to coach next year. And also, I texted you about it yesterday. My dad starting the show with the Chucky mask and doing like a mix of Gruden and himself. I don't know what that impression was. That is by far the worst John Gruden impression I've ever heard.
No comment. No comment.
Come
It's just-
on, you can be honest.
No, he just needs to, he needs to commit. He didn't want to commit.
I know he was like half being himself and half being John Gruden, and I was like texting him, I was like, if you're gonna do a Gruden impression, man, you gotta do the voice.
You got to go all in.
You got to do Spider 2Y Banana. You got to. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your fucking skull? Like,
Yeah.
you got to say the Gruden stuff.
Yeah, but the irony of that, the irony of that Barstool thing is like that guy waking up late and costing his team points or whatever. That's the best thing that could have happened because I don't think I would have paid a lick of it. I wouldn't have paid any attention to that thing if that didn't happen. So that's how it is with the internet, right? It's just that's kind of why the internet pisses me off. Like none of it's really genuine because they all know that that's great for business with what just happened. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if someone from behind the scenes told him, "Hey, you should just wake up late and just take the heat. Don't worry about it. We're gonna make a ton of money off of this.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna get views. People are gonna love it." And I got sucked in. I was one of them. So I wouldn't be surprised, man.
That's why Tony Vitello said it best. Like Twitter is not real life. Lastly, pop culture catch up, Steven. Watching anything?
Dude, I just finished Slow Horses, the most recent season 6. It's just so good. It's so good. It's just Gary Oldman, like he was pretty much done acting. He said he didn't really want to take any more roles.
Really?
Yeah, like at least before he took Slow Horses. Like he wasn't that interested in doing anything crazy. Like he's done enough, right? I think we could admit that Gary Oldman has, put his body, put his mind, sometimes just turning into a completely different person. He's done enough to entertain the masses and the film sphere. But he took this job because, well, he didn't really need to do much makeup. He didn't need to change his accent. Like he could just be this asshole British guy. And he's it's all about the Slow Horses is all about MI5. It's all about MI5, and Slow Horses is basically like this subgroup of the NI5, the cast-offs, who all kind of, they're really good at what they do, but they all made some form of a mistake where they just couldn't stick with MI5 or the park, as they call it. And Gary Oldman leads them. It's such a good show. I went through it real quick. Like I was watching a lot of it when on my honeymoon in Italy, like whenever I had some downtime. It's just so easy to watch. It's fun. And I can't recommend it enough. It was season 5. They got season 6 incoming already. They already filmed it. They shot it. Like as soon as the finale was done, they went on to what's coming up next season. So they've already done everything, but I can't recommend it enough, especially if you love Gary Oldman. I think like this is just who he wants to be, except a way dirtier, devil may care kind of attitude. This is not who he is in real life, but he's definitely just this sarcastic English guy who has a quick response, a quip to literally everything. So can't recommend that enough. Then pop culture. Oh yeah. I got stuck in it. I got stuck in the it world.
So, Welcome to Derry, or more of the other
I watched
movies?
the first episode of Welcome to Derry, and then I was like, you know what? I got to watch those movies again. So I watched the first and second one. First one's great. First one's kind of like a coming of age tale, and really it's not like that scary as far as horror movies go. It's kind of like a teenage horror movie, I'd think. You know, it's not terribly frightening. And the second one kind of sucks. I mean, Bill Hader's really good in it, but other than that, the second one's kind of like whatever. I've seen the original Ernie one. Not really for me.
Right.
It's like a mini series, right? And I remember watching that a while back and kind of being real bored of it.
All right.
And then also listening to a lot of Bruce Springsteen lately. I haven't even seen the movie.
Yeah. I've heard mixed things about the movie. But I do eventually want to check it out. I mean, I'm a biopic guy. I'm surprised I haven't seen the Bob Dylan movie yet. As far as Slow Horses, I've heard good things. Tom actually recommended it to me over a year ago, and how many seasons has there been? Like 5?
Yeah, we're done with the 5th one, going on
God.
to 6.
Yeah, I have no idea what the show's about, so I need to check that out.
I just told you.
I know. I was half paying attention. Because I don't want you to spoil it for me, Steven. Like when I do my movie reviews. So yeah, I make people tell me like the other day on the Dirty Work show, they were telling me I need to watch Queen's Gambit. I was like, I haven't gotten around to that either.
Well, that's an easy one to get through too. Queen's Gambit's really good.
Okay. I'm stuck on Share Company, man. Tim Robinson's new goofy, weird miniseries that I have no idea where it's going, and I have no idea how they're doing a whole season's worth of episodes. But I love his comedies, and it's not for everybody. For horror movies, I'm not a big scary movie guy. I'll admit that I cannot sit in a theater, and I just don't like being scared. I don't think that's a good form of entertainment. But I do kind of want to watch more, just in the comfort of my own home. So I've never seen Scream. I've never seen Friday the 13th. I've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a lot of classic films that I haven't seen when it comes to the horror genre.
Those are funny, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of scary, but a lot of them, especially Scream. Scream is making fun of horror movies.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard, where it's like it's really a parody of horror movies where they acknowledge the genre, and really Scary Movie is just another parody of Scream, but really Scream itself is a parody.
Yeah. It's like it's making fun of slashers. That's really
Yeah.
what it is. So yeah, dude, that's not scary at all. I mean,
No,
there's, like,
I know. Just like when I'm like when I was a kid, like, I had no interest because like I don't want to be spooked. But now I'm like, I'm old enough now. I probably should get around to watching these movies. I have been enthralled in the Martin Scorsese documentary called Mr. Scorsese on Apple TV. It's a 5-part docuseries, and they interview obviously Scorsese, and they go through basically every movie he's directed. And just a very interesting guy, very interesting director. And the real interesting part to me is not that they interviewed De Niro or DiCaprio or any of the other actors that he worked with. It's the real mafia guys that he grew up with. So they'll talk about like his upbringing and guys in the movie Mean Streets and characters they were based off of. And they interview like his childhood friends. And one guy's like, I got my brother who is based off of the character that De Niro played, and he's right in the other room. You want to talk to him? That comes in. He goes, "Oh, what are we talking about? What did Marty tell you about me? Huh? Everything's off the record. Everything's on. I mean, everything's on the record. Whatever you want to hear. But Marty says a lot of things." And then the woman, I think it's Daniel Day-Lewis's wife, that's the director of this docuseries. She goes, "Did you blow up a mailbox? Excuse me, darling. Did you blow up a mailbox when you were younger?" "Yeah, I did that. Yeah." "Well, why?" "Well, hey, when we were kids, you would just you would blow up things. You got your hands on explosives, and you would do that. I know it's a federal crime, but fuck, are they gonna do it now?" And it was just funny to hear like wise guys, like not really like big time mafia guys, but like guys that would do interviews for this documentary, and like they were friends with Marty Scorsese, and they were just like, when we were younger, we would see a guy catch a beating on the street, and Marty would be like, "I need to go home and get my camera," and I'm like, "Marty, I need to go home and get my fucking gun. What are we doing here? Huh? Camera." So, if you're really into mafia movies, I highly recommend it because, in my opinion, Scorsese is the king of that genre. He's not pigeonholed to that because he definitely went outside the box sometimes, but mostly he loves, the gangster genre. So he's my favorite director. I haven't even seen all of his movies. I probably will after this, but I think it's a fascinating documentary.
Yeah, that's what all those docs do, right? They get you to go back and watch them.
Exactly.
Like, that's kind of their number one goal. So, yeah, I mean, I got to check that one out. If I'm be doing too much of the accent, though.
You're doing too fucking much. Yeah, exactly. That whole documentary is just you're doing too fucking much, Marty.
Yeah. One of the Netflix has like a Philadelphia versus the mob doc out right now, and we kind of just watching it as we're going to sleep. And there's one mobster in there. Like when you think or watch like a mafia movie and you kind of see a bumbling kind of sidekick, a guy who they kind of get to just do all their hits for them, but they're kind of stupid. There's one of them in real life in this Philadelphia one who is just one of the great characters in a documentary that I've ever seen. He is hilarious. He's like, "I never told you I was a good criminal. I was just a criminal." And he's mentioning all these things that he's doing. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't think about that too much. Probably should have done it different." and like these kind of things. So if anyone gets the chance to watch that, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. It doesn't pop up in the first episode, goes into it in the second episode, and the second episode is mostly about him, and it's unreal what happens with him.
Yeah. All right, I'll check that out. Just real quick to this Scorsese documentary. De Niro. Dude, De Niro is interesting where they talk about Raging Bull and the improv on that movie. Yeah. And it was like Joe Pesci talks about it in like a archival interview he did back in the day where Pesci's just like, yeah, De Niro, I don't know if he's good at improv, but he could definitely piss you off as an actor because when you're doing his scene and he just says over and over again the same thing, you're like, all right, Bob, like say something else here. So like in the scene where he's like, you ever make it with my wife? And he's like, why would you even say that? I heard some things. What things? I heard some things. What things did you hear? I heard some things. And he just says that over and over again to the point where he's pissed. And Scorsese like saw the brilliance in that, but like didn't like Pesci's getting pissed. He's like, he's not adding anything into the scene. He's just saying the same thing over and over again. And then like today you see these interviews with De Niro, and for a guy that's a great actor, he doesn't articulate his words very well. So he'll say stuff in the past, like when him and Marty were like not in a good relationship, he'd just be like, yeah, Marty, he would and sometimes I would be like, and he'd be like, and I'd be like, yeah. So that's the way it was.
Wow.
Really interesting stuff. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for today. We'll leave you on that interesting note. We'll be back again on Wednesday because we're going to be at Harmonic once again for Dirty Work. We'll see you there, Pat H. So we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll review everything from the NFL trade deadline and the week that was week 9. For everybody in the chat today, thanks to Rocco New Era, thanks to Skills, thanks to Pat H, thanks to Ernie1. I may have to use your ESPN login. Thanks to AJ Cruz. Thanks to Joey P. Thanks to Danny Golding TV. No Tacky, no Lauren F. No Otis Bird is the word, who I met the other night. Very, very, very nice individual. That's it. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday. Steven, say what you always say.
It's just our opinion, man.